Hello, everyone, and welcome to the GLORIO Chat, the best anime podcast on the internet. I am currently recording live from the snow-covered wasteland that is the eastern United States right now. But I don't know, maybe actually, I might also include the central United States. I haven't been paying that close attention.
Have you gotten any exploding ice tree warnings yet?
No,
I thought the central United States was a hellhole for a completely different reason.
Yeah, more reasons than just the snow, I suppose. But yeah, but that aside, it is winter time. It is winter anime time, even, and we are a few episodes into the winter 2026 season. I'm maybe still not feeling great about this one, folks. But I guess at least we still have a couple things to watch, and a couple of new things. Everything is out by now. I saw there were still shows coming out as late as like Friday or something. But if there's anything else we're missing, please let us know. But I think we have a pretty good idea of what we'll be watching at this point. So let's get into it. But first, I'll introduce everybody. I'm Jel. I'm joined by Arrow.
I'm still here. I'm not dead yet.
Still with us. We're joined by G.
I'm sorry, Tamamo Cross. I don't know what I did wrong. Please help me help you. I don't know why you have been maybe the most utterly cursed Uma Musume I have ever trained in the game. For context,
You did get her, though.
I did get her, and I didn't have to hit pity, thank God. But yes, one Tamamo Cross, winner of the Autumn Tenno show, has dropped into Uma Musume, and if you're familiar with that game, utterly cursed. The few times I've had time to train her this week, utterly cursed. I'm talking like failing trainings with 10%
failing 90% trainings.
Like multiple times in a row. Getting the having her rest and getting the slept badly event like 3 times in a row.
Is Uma Musume just Monster Rancher? Like,
it's more Princess Maker if you really want to get down to it. But
it's exactly that. But
yeah.
But yes, just every attempt I have made to train a champions meeting, capable Tamamo Cross has ended in utter failure. So I bought the Nendo, damn it.
I'm sure just like the anime, your perseverance will pay off.
I just have to believe harder, yes.
Yeah, you just have to believe harder, yeah.
What's the most recent horse in that game, like, from real life? Because I feel like I think you've told every horse I've heard about has been from like the Showa. Like,
so they have released horses from for example, Gold Ship is from, I believe, 2012.
Okay.
I believe they have released horses that have raced as recently as 2020.
Okay.
So there's also the like inevitable aspect of any like gacha that look, speaking of fate, right?
So there are Reiwa horses in Uma Musume.
Yes, and it's just like one of those weird things of like the longer these games run, the sort of like
starting to scrape the bottom of the barrel.
Well, yeah, because you run out of all the good legendary shit, right?
You need time to become. You need time to become a legendary horse, right?
Yes. Or like you look at Fate Go, where they have like 90 million obscure Japanese servants who like didn't actually amount to anything meaningful in history.
Yeah.
Look, we already ran out of all the Greek gods like in year 1, so
yeah.
Anyways, yes, I don't know.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're also joined by Zig.
Yes, I'm here. I was at a convention yesterday, and for what it's worth, I saw way more male Uma Musume cosplayers than female Uma Musume cosplayers. So make of that what you will.
I'm happy for them.
I'm
wonderful.
Unsurprised.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's talk about some anime. Like I said, everything is kind of out now. We've had a few new things popping up that weren't out last time, and we'll start with some things we haven't talked about yet. And we've got at the top of our list, Frieren is back. Season 2.
Frieren is back.
3?
Sure is.
2?
Season 2.
Do we count the first one as season 1? The whole entire thing? And this is
I believe so, yeah.
What even are seasons anymore?
Also that, yes.
Yeah. So, Frieren's back. I don't know if you guys saw both episodes that are out yet. But
we have.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have left the magic license exam.
Thank God.
Thank God. We're back on our journey. I will say, like, in the first episode, like, as soon as I saw the one guy that was part of the thing, I was like, oh God, I don't want to see these characters ever again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He feels like he felt like this guy from Bleach had suddenly randomly entered the chat. Like,
the white-haired guy? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you doing here? You stick out like a sore thumb.
I mean, you could say that about a lot of the characters who are...
Just imagining, like,
and in fact, I will.
Just imagining, like, a Tetsuya Nomura character showing up in, like, Dragon Quest 3, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this is, like, always kind of been,
or something.
Yeah, like, the weird thing about, like, how even though Frieren is ostensibly a traditional fantasy anime, it is one of the ones that is clearly drawing heavily from... a particular strain of Japanese fantasy, right? It is not isekai, right? But like there are gamified elements, or it takes inspiration from that style of Japanese fantasy, and so yes, having a Final Fantasy reject walking around with his pretty torn shirt, is, I suppose, not out of belief.
Right, yeah. I mean, that's where we get stuff like referring to Stark as a frontliner and stuff like that, right? Like,
yes.
Yeah,
weirdly
weirdly
DNA in there.
Incongruous.
Yeah, but
also maybe it always has been part of Frieren's identity as far back as its initial premise, right? Of we have to defeat the Mao. Or we beat the Mao in our backstory.
This is basically just Dragon Quest.
Yes. I mean, I've played the Dragon Quest 3 remake recently, and I do know this about the first couple Dragon Quest games, but like there are games where after beating the final boss, you still walk back home in the peaceful world, right? And like I think that portion of those games informs Frieren a lot. If that makes sense. Like,
I never actually had the patience to finish a Dragon Quest game. So.
I mean, those early Dragon Quest games are pretty brutal.
You can walk around, but yes, after beating the final boss, you can walk around and talk to everybody, and they're like, "Wow, you defeated the Demon King! Yay!"
Yeah.
Wow, just like Undertale.
Mm-hmm.
Guy who's only played Undertale.
Wow, just like
giving me a lot of Yeah, I know. Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
but I mean, here's the thing, right? Like, this is like, I don't want to taint the conversation from the start, so I guess I will just say that these two episodes in a vacuum are a pretty solid reminder of, like what was like so appealing about Frieren, right? Like this, like episode 1, I'm like 90% sure, I checked with Eero, I'm 90% sure much of episode 1 is anime original.
I think most of it, yeah.
I mean, that felt a lot like
let's reintroduce
everybody.
Yeah.
I think you don't get too much anymore.
Funnily enough, the only other like recent example I can think of is that Spy Family also does that.
Right.
Every season. It's like the first 10 minutes of episode 1 is Lloyd is a spy. Yor is an assassin. And Anya, she can read mind. And it's like, yeah, bro, we know. Yeah, all right.
And Anya is an idiot.
But at least here with Frieren, I actually rather liked this anime filler, quote-unquote, sequence at the start. I think it was very
fits
charming.
the very easygoing vibe of the show, right? This sort of like gentle easing back in, a reminder of, here are all the major charm points of all your favourite characters and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah.
And which, I mean, honestly, we were not getting a lot of in the final stretch of the season.
Right, yes. Right? Stark was completely absent for that entire final arc, right?
Yes.
Like,
So it was nice to kind of recalibrate and put us back on track. And then in the second episode, we kind of get into our first adventure, right?
Right.
Dive right back into the weird demons are not really people thing, and
Yes.
Go recover the lost sword. We learn more history about there are other heroes out there. It's all very it's the things that we all loved Frieren for before the exam arc.
Yeah. We learned that stealing from demons is not really stealing. The argument that the British Museum makes all the time. So
yeah,
but I think these are very solid recalibration episodes. I think obviously Madhouse continues to. It is Madhouse, right? Hold on.
Yes, it's still Madhouse.
Okay. Continues to look anime
anime,
adaptations,
yeah.
remembering which studio. It continues to do a very good job with the visuals, right? Like like credit where it's due, right? Like when Frieren is at its best, like it is such a lushly captivating take on fantasy, right? Like it's not breaking the mold, but I was joking with Eero. It's like you watch episodes of Frieren and you get it sounds real good right now. Going on an adventure with my party, traveling across the lands, righting wrongs and helping the innocent. It inhabits that tone and style so well.
Yeah,
and it's not just the action parts and stuff. Everything, the more subtle stuff as far as creating atmosphere and all that, they do a very good job of presenting it all that well. But yeah, that said, I mean, go ahead, Zig.
I was going to say, we can't touch on how lush the show is without talking about the ending as well.
Oh yes,
yes.
Incredible.
Shout out to
incredible colored pencil drawing.
Unfortunately, I don't remember the lady's name. That they literally got. That's just what she does. She does colored pencil work, and apparently it was just her that animated the ending. One person.
That's feasible for
really impressive.
That's feasible for a sequence only 90 seconds long, right? But still, it is.
Even so, they've probably worked on it for a very long time.
Yes.
Because when you look at it, I mean, my first thought is it looked like a filter or something.
Right. I think probably everybody was like, "Oh wow, cool filter," and then they posted online pictures of
each frame,
the frames, and
each hand-drawn frame.
Shit, it's. Frieren, season 1 also had some very impressive EDs, right? I think didn't they also do a physical or mixed media style ED?
It was collage.
I think
this person did work on that. I think.
Yeah, okay. I think she did parts of it, but this time it's just all her on this one, right? Whereas I think the first ED was more of a mix of things.
Yeah.
But.
So it's I would not say that Frieren is on the same level of rewriting the book in way in the way that say a City the animation did, but I think at its best Frieren is a really it's very feel good celebration of the medium in a lot of ways.
It's
just to butt in for a second. The artist is Mime Aomai.
Okay. Yeah.
Did the Frieren ending?
Cool. Yeah. They definitely they're embracing the medium and adding there's value to it being an anime adaptation and not just copying the manga, right? It's
definitely
they're really taking advantage of the medium to create the right atmosphere and everything. It's all very impressive. Which is all stuff we knew coming from season 1, but it's nice to kind of dive back into that in season 2, and. We're feeling good right now. I guess we'll see where we go. From what you guys have,
that is indeed
warned us.
We will see.
I don't want to have any sort of preconceived notions. I'm going to keep my mind as open as possible. But it's also how many legendary swords can we go find? In one episode.
I will say that if I had one criticism of these opening couple of episodes, it is that they reminded me that Frieren can be a little genteel as well. You know, it can be a little. Sometimes that slow pace is very enjoyable. Sometimes it can be a little twee, if that makes sense. You know,
I mean, definitely.
It's not a harsh criticism. I still very much enjoy these episodes, but occasionally it can dip into that.
I think it's good to distinguish the difference of, you know, at least for me, my complaints with season 2 were not that we did something that was a change of pace. It's the fact that we spent like 12 episodes doing that one thing instead of like, you know, maybe that would have been an interesting like 3-episode arc or something, right?
And so also that one thing was just so out of style with what had come before, right?
So I don't mind some variety, and in fact, I will demand some variety. I don't think I would want. I would not want episode 2 just to be repeated over and over again, right? You know, having it kind of match the tone of the show is also nice. But yeah.
Word is also from Blu-ray listings that season 2 will be 10 episodes long.
Right, I believe that also was pointed out.
Really,
so a little shorter. Yeah, we're doing a Cinderella Grey season 2 again.
All right, well, I guess we're already 20% through the shows.
Yep.
Also, shout outs to, I don't know if it's intentional or not. It may be just because the meme was so widespread. It literally like touched even Japanese animators themselves. But there is a shot in episode 2 where Frieren looks up. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Frieren looking up meme.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Gained a lot of prominence. But it is like specifically Frieren looking up at that particular difficult angle.
Right.
And the thing I think is really funny, right, is that, of course, like, you know, if you've been living under a rock, right, some, you know, amateur artist was basically posting, hey, like, how do you draw this angle of face, right? And it's Frieren looking up from a, like, low camera angle, right? And it's a very, you know, it's an amateurish drawing, you know, it's somebody who's trying to improve, right? But
it's a hard angle to draw, too.
Yeah. And it kind of kicked off this trend of artists, you know, all over the world be like, this is how I would do it, or this is like, you know, this is like, here's my advice on how to draw this angle, you know, especially in the anime style, like, you know, where often you have less details to work with. Here, like, if you put this one line here, it indicates the chin is at an angle, stuff like that, like to the point where even like animators got in on, like Japanese animators, you know, like, you know, it's like you had like a key animator who worked on Escaflowne doing the Frieren looking up angle, you know, and then like writing in Japanese, you know, which is translated through Google saying, yeah, wow, this is a hard angle. Right.
The best one I saw was somebody redrawing the Simpsons Skinner pathetic meme, but with Frieren from that angle.
Yeah.
Overall, a surprisingly heartwarming this art is bad meme to have everybody jump in fairly earnestly to be like, oh yeah, how do we do this? Here's how I would. Right.
Anyways, right. It was very charming. Like it's like you know, the internet gets like one genuinely feel good story per year that doesn't get tainted,
you get one wholesome, corrupted. You get one wholesome moment per year.
Yeah, you know, where it turns out, you know, where we don't later find out that the originator is like a racist or something.
Yeah.
But anyways, I just had to shout it out because you know. So you have Frieren looking up in this scene where they're fighting the demon, and like, you know, maybe you think, oh, okay, Madhouse is gonna really strut their stuff and show everybody how it's really done, and then this is the Frieren looking up shot.
Yeah, it's they kind of cheat.
Sorry for listeners, I'm posting the screenshot in our Discord, and it's just a fucking orb with a
Charlie Brown head
with a cone, like to indicate the nose looking up, and it's like, hey, guess what?
It's animation, baby. Like
it's animation, baby.
Yeah,
like it's all about, it's like, you know, Ashina Sword style. It's all about taking shortcuts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because you don't necessarily notice like when it's a one frame in your whole sequence, right? Like
exactly.
Yeah,
but again, I don't know if it's intentional or not. I don't know. Maybe the Madhouse animators were in on the joke, but I thought it was a very
that is funny.
Yes,
that is
yes.
very.
If
very
it is
good.
intentional, it's an excellent punchline on that
Mhm.
that whole trend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll see how I feel about Frieren this time 2 weeks from now. But at the moment, it feels good to be back, and we'll see how it goes. Okay. So,
Yes.
the next show, we got a comment from someone named AFQM. Shout out to you, saying you should check out SHIBOYUGI. SHIBOYUGI playing death games to put food on the table, which I've also heard some other buzz about this.
Yes.
For varying
Okay.
reasons. So I decided, you know what? Let's check it out. And it's certainly something.
Oh yeah.
It
That's
is
an
a
interesting bit.
How does this rate on the Gohan's scale?
it is a spectacle. Well, it's not Gohan's, right?
I know it's
a
not,
Go-
but
oh,
like,
okay.
but proverbially.
on a scale of 1 to go hands? Where does it rate?
Okay, so it's definitely visually interesting. I would say that it's very stylized in a way that's going to be difficult for me to explain on audio. You can go watch a trailer or something and figure it out yourself. But the closest comparison I could make in my brain would be to like peak late 2000s Shaft.
Right.
But
There's that too. Yeah.
not quite as abstract. It's really more of like it's almost like a filter on things more than like Shaft, which is, you know, jumping around, changing art styles and stuff
Right.
like that. But there is some like more like abstract shots and like topography and stuff like that being played around with to make a very kind of stylized, artistically interesting presentation. So from that aspect, I could see why, and even just like the directing and everything is very like, it's much more like cinematic and not like, you know, typical schlocky anime that you might expect when you read the premise of this. So I can see why there's been some buzz about it and people have found it interesting. That said, and this is all due respect to our commenter that put it out there. If you enjoyed this, more power to you. I did not like this at all.
No, not a fan.
So what is the premise?
I'll get to that. I'll get to the premise in a second. But at the end of the day, it is just kind of a schlocky anime torture porn premise. So the idea is, as the title suggests, playing death games to put food on the table. There is a death game that people, I guess it's some kind of semi-secret thing, but it's also like televised. So like, you know, people are watching it. And so like the idea is they want to spice the game up to get people to watch it or whatever. And participants basically enter this mansion that's like a bunch of escape rooms, except there are deadly traps that will actually kill you for real in them.
Okay.
And there's a lot of typical death game tropes where it's like, you know, do you help each other get out or do you sell each other out to survive?
Ally or betray.
Going on. For some reason, all of the girls are like cute, colorful maids. Even though it's like deadly 110% serious, there is no joy in this anime whatsoever. In fact, I hate the character designs. I'm just going to say it straight up. But and look, it's not even just the maid thing. You know, shout out to Akiba Maid War, right? It can be done,
right?
but in this context, it is just not working for me at all. I think the moment where I realized I'm out. And to be clear, this is a double first episode, and I stuck through the whole thing, so I gave it a fair shot.
Congratulations.
The moment I felt like I was out was there's a part where, how can I explain this? If you die, you die. Like if you are killed, like if
you die in the death game, you die in real life.
Are you saying that people die when they are killed?
Yes. So like there's one, like they have to kill somebody off early on to show you how serious this is, right? So one girl gets a spike through her head or something right in the beginning to show you, hey, this is a deadly game. But they do reveal that like there's some kind of technology, I guess. They don't really explain it, where like if you're not lethally injured, like your wound gets immediately closed up and they can like reattach your arm or whatever later.
Okay.
So
it's like, as long as you're not dead, you're still alive.
So
and you can
there's a
be
part
cut up
where
as much as possible. Yeah.
there's a part where they have to. I don't want to have to explain the whole thing, but I kind of have to, and we have time. So there's a part where they have to go up an elevator, but the elevator can only hold a certain amount of weight.
Mm-hmm.
And there's I think 4 people left, and they can only fit like maybe 3 people.
I feel like I know where this is going,
and
I've got an inkling myself, but go on.
And so they determine that since they can chop off their arms and legs with no consequences, or no long-term consequences, the way to do this and not just like leave somebody behind is to everybody chop an arm and a leg off or whatever.
The good news is I lost 20 pounds overnight. The bad news,
and just to give you more context of what kind of story this is, the room before the elevator is filled with weapons, so there's also an option to just fight to the death, and whoever survives can go up the elevator. But anyway,
so this is the exact ending of a Futurama episode. I hate to say, this is the exact ending of the Futurama episode where no Fatan has gone before.
But Zig, what if this was 110% deadly serious, meant for you to take this just very seriously?
I'm not sure I could.
And so at one point, so eventually they, after some fighting, they do come to the conclusion that this is what they're going to do. And they don't really show them cutting their arms off or whatever, but shortly after, they show everybody hobbling along with like one leg and a stick. the main girl's got one leg and a stick, and she has one of the other girls with both her legs chopped off.
What the
piggybacking on her as they're like hobbling down the stars.
Are we sure this isn't a secret comedy? Like,
I can't do this. I was just like, I can't.
This sounds like some real like mid-90s super edgy shit that was like, the anime you can't show your parents.
And the girl, and then the girl who has like both her legs chopped off is like having these flashbacks of how her childhood and saying how she wants to be just like her dad when she grows up and all this stuff to try to make you feel bad. And like, obviously she's not going to make it, but and of course they do get to the end, and they end up having only 3 people could survive, and they have to kill somebody, and the main girl just like ruthlessly kills one of them. And I don't know what they're going for with that. Like, I can't tell if the main girl is like genuinely supposed to be like the hero of the story, but she kills people to survive anyway, or what, or is she supposed to be like a morally gray, conflicted character? I don't think that's true. If that is true, it's awful, because one thing I did, important detail I left out. This is entirely optional. You choose to enter this game.
Oh yeah, it's to put food on the table.
Yeah, exactly.
So like, this going into it that you both could die or you might have to kill somebody. So like, I don't see how you would have any like moral high ground on that. But
I mean, this kind of sounds like a breeding ground for psychopaths, honestly.
And the main girl, like, for reasons undisclosed in the first 2 episodes, is determined to win 99 death games. She's already won 28 of them. And she's not portrayed as like some sort of like insane killers.
Is there I feel like a special reason to win 99 of them, or just cause?
If there is, they don't explain it. And that's kind of my other problem, aside from like the torture porn part of it. It's all very arbitrary. Like,
right.
There's no like, I don't care. Right? Like, it's, why are we doing this? Like, you guys might make some money, I guess. Like,
that's not a good motive to be in a death game.
I think there's a reason most death game type media, like Danganronpa and Zero Escape and Battle Royale and whatnot, it's like, it's involuntary. You've been stuck here.
Right. And then it makes sense. It was like, okay, well then you didn't choose to do this. they do say like one of the girls, she's like, oh, I got tricked into it or whatever, but like everybody else is like has chosen to do this because apparently I'm assuming it's very high financial rewards. So like I don't feel that bad for you then. Like,
Right.
I mean, you made a stupid decision, but like I don't feel that bad for you if that was your choice. And like,
I think it is possible. I think it is possible to tell a story about like bad people who bad things happen to. That's a very specific kind of like grindhouse horror, right?
Because I mean, I do think you're supposed to have some kind of sympathy for the main girl, even though she just like cold blood kills an innocent person at the end for her own personal survival and gain. So, G, were you going to say something?
Oh, I mean, I was going to say, like, literally one of the most prominent pieces of, like, death game fiction of the last few years, literally, like, does the plot point of it's voluntary, which is
that
Squid Game.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's right.
The early act twist of Squid Game is that the first game is they let everybody go.
Right. I did think about that a little bit as well. Yeah.
You know, the whole thing it gets into is that like, yes, these people technically come crawling back, but they come crawling back because they live under capitalism.
Yeah, that desperate.
Because society is a prison.
Right, and the organizers of the game specifically handpicked people who were already desperate to begin with, right? So, anyways, not to litigate that. The point is, like, I think you can do a compelling story about people.
There's a point to that.
Yeah, there is a layer. There are layers of story which do not seem to be present in this case.
But I guess what we're saying is that you don't seem to be getting that from
there's no they're not trying to tell us that capitalism is bad here.
I will say fascinating to hear you describe the show this way, because like making my way through the PV, and it's like I definitely see what you mean by the Shaft influence. There's also sort of a like almost mixed media, like again, for better or worse, I get the Gohan's comparison. There's a little bit of this like
a lot of the backgrounds,
intentional mixing of 2D drawn animation and CG backgrounds, and then like sort of a like when the characters are like, you know, meant to be read as out of focus, they kind of take on this sort of like, you know, no line art art style, right? It's one of those anime where it's like, oh, okay, we were very comfortable with shifting the art style to suit a particular means, and I don't see anything in this PV that indicates like macabre death game. I guess, you know, but
because it's all like cute, colorful maids or whatever, right? Like, I feel like this is ultimately a situation where somebody who is a relatively new main director or, you know, new staff or something, they got their chance to do an anime. They did not get a good anime, but damn it, they're going to make it look good or interesting or show off their, you know, abilities and you know, creativity. That's what this feels like to me at the end of the day, because I feel like the actual core of the anime itself is not very good. Like it actually made me think of anime for a couple years ago. Do you guys remember Talentless Nana?
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought Talentless Nana was pretty
good. Not technically a death game.
No.
But kind of a similar thing where the main character is murdering relatively innocent people.
Yes.
And they spin it in a way that is interesting to watch. And because in that one, like I said, it's not a death game, but she was like killing her. She was sent to kill her classmates or whatever, right?
Yes,
and it was
and they have superpowers and she does not,
right? And so it was kind of an interesting. I felt like it was similar vibes to what's going on here, except that did it better.
Right, I mean that's a very clear case where like the protagonist is clearly the villain, but they have sympathetic aspects which you can, if not glom onto, at least understand, and that's what makes it an interesting ideological conflict as well as the actual killing things part, right?
Yeah, and you know, maybe they will do some of that in later episodes, but if you don't do that in your double length episode intro, then I'm not gonna stick around for more of it. So yeah, a very fascinating, kind of case here to talk about, but I did not particularly enjoy it, nor do I want to watch more of it. So,
alas.
All right. Well, speaking of things that might have had an interesting introduction, but I probably don't want to watch any more of. Let's come back and talk about Yoroi Shinden Samurai Troopers.
Mm-hmm. I don't remember if I was on tape when I said this or if I was simply watching it with somebody when I said this, but I think I said something along the lines of, maybe I'll just watch until they get to Blue Hearts and then stop, assuming that it would have taken longer to get to the Blue Hearts than episode 3.
Yeah.
I think I did not watch beyond the first episode, but I saw some social media that said they literally had Linda in it.
Yeah,
they sure do.
Hell yeah.
And they also have the other song from
Hitoni Yasashi too, right?
Yes, from Rolling Girls.
Shout out to Rolling Girls.
I mean, shout outs to
great first episode.
Certain creative decisions Rolling Girls made. God, what you want to talk about a show that is wasted potential incarnate, but I don't know. Samurai Troopers continues to just be a baffling show to me. I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. Like,
So when we talked last time, it was the only thing out, I think, was the prologue episode, right? Which was kind of the setup of, the bad samurai troopers dying and then needing to be replaced by the real samurai troopers, which we start the process of in episode 2.
I will point out, by the way, that when I was watching it with Iro, he said in the first 30 seconds, these guys are going to die in the episode. And indeed, they did.
Yeah. That is... real media savvy from doing this for 15 years or whatever. But so I did you guys watch episode 3? I only watched episode 2.
We did.
Yeah.
Okay. They introduced the Orange Ranger, and it's I get what I say. Like, I don't quite understand what the show is trying to be. I think like this is like that weird aspect of like maybe. Like, you can't really do camp in animation.
You have to go triggery almost, or like that's just what comes to mind for me, right?
No, I mean, not to boss
we need the rubber suits. Gee, is that what you're saying?
But I do think I think there's some validity to what you said, that like I think when you want to be wacky in anime, you have to go because it's already an inherently exaggerated medium, you have to like go so hard that it doesn't even like read as real anymore. And I think like I look at this Samurai Troopers show and I constantly keep thinking to myself, you know what, I guess if this exact same thing was happening in live action, this would be pretty funny. Like there's a part in the 3rd episode where like the whole thing's like the guy who becomes the Orange Ranger joins, and he's like he was like the old adoptive older brother of like little Turquoise Twink, and like they were raised in the same orphanage, right? And so Orange guy also wants to become a samurai trooper, but he doesn't have he can't transform, he can't henshin, like he doesn't have the samurai spirit or whatever, right? And to spur him into action, the Red Ranger, who is like basically just Ryoma Nagara, he's just a go Nagai, like violent sociopath protagonist, decides, you know what, I'm gonna kill little blue Twink. I'm gonna like beat him to death in front of you, like because you're so weak, like you can't do anything. And I'm going to just start stomping the shit out of him, just stomping him the fuck out, just repeatedly just ramming his foot into this little blue Twink. And, the world in which this is happening in live action, this is probably like low-key hilarious, right? Because, you got two dudes in Toku samurai armor, one basically curb stomping the other into the dirt. Like, but in anime form, I don't know. It just
in live action, if it were not hilarious deliberately, it would at least be hilarious accidentally.
I guess that's what I mean.
Yeah.
This scene would probably be hilarious by accident. I don't even if this were in live action, I don't think the creators would intend it to be funny. But at least we as viewers would be able to derive some form of enjoyment from the absurdity of what is happening on screen. Whereas in anime form, it kind of just doesn't land.
Yeah.
It does, because it's like it's almost like shot like a live action, and so it's just like, oh yeah, he's like stomping the fuck out of this kid. Wow, but there's like no like real sense of like panache or melodrama, I suppose. And I think that kind of like sums up a lot of like the weird feelings around this show as a whole. I can't tell. Is it trying to be like a fourth wall breaking like meta commentary on Toku? Is it trying to be an unironic like take on the genre in animated form? Right? Like, is it a tribute?
Right.
Is it trying all of them and failing at
yes.
Right.
and succeeding at none of them?
And you have this whole like 80s nostalgia angle of that barely makes sense.
And it really only hit because of in the latest episode, because they finally played a song that like we knew, right, which were the Blue Hearts. Like, and it kind of made it click. Oh, okay. Like, if you are somebody who was like literally alive and watching the original Samurai Troopers like in the 80s or 90s,
yeah,
the thing there that kind of worked for us in episode 3 is probably hitting every episode, right? Because you're going, oh shit, they're playing, whatever, right? It's just that we don't have that cultural context, right? Like, we got lucky with the Blue Hearts because, Linda was in, O's Tatakai Oendan, a hit DS import game.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious, like, have any of you actually seen any of the original series at all?
I probably watched like an episode of like it when it was released as Ronin Warriors,
right.
But
I feel like there's this. I definitely get you, G, where there's like an identity crisis here, right? Like,
yeah, that's the main thing I took from the first episode as well. It's like, what is this trying to be?
Because there is like also this strain of like 80s 90s edginess hidden in there, like with the very violent murder and stuff, but then it's also like, which is why I'm curious about like the tone of the original series, which my guess is it was probably like deadly serious, but I don't know. And you mix it with, there's some hand waving toward like some gesturing toward like the clash between the old and the new, but that's really just an excuse to talk about old music, I guess. And then like and then ultimately the core of the story is just like a very kind of typical
very standard story happening.
With all and I don't know, like I think for me, because I like I said, I didn't even bother watching episode 3. But in episode 2, there was like the part where when they're dealing, the one guy is dealing with his rock and roll granny getting killed or whatever,
right?
And it's like, he's flashing back and thinking about how cool his grandma was and all that, and it's like. On the one side, I was like, okay, this is what Yoichi Fujita does. This is why they called him in for stuff like this. He injects the emotion, whether it's tragedy or whatever, into the crazy things that are going on. And it was just not working for me. I'm like, well, if he can't save it, then
who can?
I don't know what we're doing here, folks.
I mean, I think this is the problem with so many of these tokusatsu adjacent anime that we've seen in recent years, is that they are trying to parody something which is already a parody, if that makes sense. Like, tokusatsu is already kind of a self-parody, and you can't really just spoof those tropes because they are already spoofed backwards and forwards and subverted and
Mhm.
played straight and all of this kind of thing. Again, you can't just go for the
Sentai's been
cheap
running for 50
punchlines.
years.
Yes.
Yeah,
It's
it kind of makes me think, like, is this the reverse of when an anime gets a live action adaptation and loses all of its charm points? Is it like the other
Kind
way
of,
around,
yes.
where if you make tokusatsu anime, it loses all of its charm points?
The
like
thing
were
we
saying
always say
before?
when we're talking about toku, right, is that a huge amount of like the charm and energy comes from the actors sort of mugging for the camera and acting in extremely over the top and cartoonish
Mhm.
ways. Like you can't overestimate the amount of impact that
Right.
brings. And we started this segment by saying, is it possible to do camp anime? And probably, like,
Yeah,
there's
I mean,
probably
I don't know,
some
Yeah,
like
I
stuff.
think
Space
so.
Patrol Luluka, right, is like...
But like that sort of goes past camp into straight up kind of Looney Tunes, wacky
Right,
races.
I suppose
stuff.
that's
Like,
true.
It's a more difficult line to walk, certainly. And like I said, my major issue with this show is just I'm not entirely sure what it's going for. Is this funny? Is it a spoof? Is it kind of like darker and edgier? Is it meant to be sort of like a love letter to the original show, or is it trying to be like a brutal deconstruction of it? Unclear.
Mhm.
Yeah. So
Does not go far enough in any of these things for a position to become clear, right?
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So and maybe it doesn't help that none of us have the context of the original
Right.
series either.
Yeah. I mean, like, I'm sure if this was something that we were into, then there would at least be some level of charge to watching it. But without that grounding, there's just nothing to grasp onto there.
Yeah. All right. Well, probably safe to say we're all done with that one then.
Probably.
Speaking of
There
being
is
done
not
with
a
things,
lot left
Yeah.
in this season.
And
Okay,
You know, it was a good tokusatsu anime adaptation, Garo,
Yeah.
which has a completely different tone with that transfers more easily, I think.
Yes. I mean, it's because they, firstly, they used the anime to do things which they could never have done in
Yes.
live action, and secondly, they changed the tone completely. It went from like dark, modern urban fantasy to like swashbuckling medieval fantasy.
Yeah.
So, like, they brought something unique to it.
Yeah. So it can be done, but
yeah, absolutely
does not appear to be happening here. Yeah. All right. Well, moving along, Iro, I didn't even ask beforehand. Are you still watching Trigun? I put it on the list.
I don't know if we are anymore.
We gave it the old 3-episode test.
Okay. Does not sound encouraging. For Stargaze
here. I really don't want to repeat myself. It really, but it is
it's
just
all the same problems. As we said,
it's all the same problems. Yeah, it is just the most sauceless take on Trigun I've ever seen. It is. There's just if we want to talk about another anime that I think suffers from a lack of like the stylization and exaggeration that I think is inherent to the appeal of anime, I think Stargaze is another like glaring casualty of this. I think from a different like direction, but like Trigun Stargaze constantly is like it's like trying to feel cinematic. It's trying to feel quote unquote AAA, right? Like it's and thus it has made directing and cinematography choices to reflect that, right? It is trying to be it is trying to shoot itself like a film, and that's just not Trigun. Like,
right.
And
I mean, I want my Trigun to be shot on shitty 8mm film that has then been stamped on by horses. Like, that's what Trigun should look like.
Trigun is about Vash the Stampede and $60 billion double dollars. Don't take it too seriously.
I mean,
right.
I have not seen any of Stargaze, but one of the inherent problems I had with Stampede was just that everything is so clean. Everything is so...
And that continues to be, like... There are parts of these last 2 episodes where, like, if you were not familiar with Trigun, you would never guess this is a Western or a pastiche Western. Like, there is in the third episode they fight Leonov the Puppet Master, one of the Gung Ho Guns, right? And they are fighting in they're fighting in basically a like renovated, crashed colony ship, and because the whole thing with Trigun is that everybody who's here are from the crashed colony ships that were sabotaged by millions knives, and like they're inside this like space colony like thing, right? Like that's been crashed for like 100 years, spotless, like impeccably spotless, no damage, no sign of like homemade like renovations or like ramshackle improvisations to the living conditions, no sign that they've been lived in. Like it's got that pristine clean sci-fi look, like not even couldn't even like be bothered to like put some like I don't know dirt textures on.
You're saying it's not even Star Wars, it's 2001.
Yeah and like and then like Leonov the Puppet Master, his whole thing is like he controls puppets, right? A big aspect of his thing in the original manga is that he can make his puppets like, it's never explained how, but he can make his puppets just look exactly like real humans. And so like in the original manga, and this is, and to be clear, I'm not saying that this is bad because it didn't follow the manga, but in the manga, the whole point of the Gung Ho Guns is not that they want to kill Vash the Stampede. It is that they want to break Vash the Stampede, right? They want to, they want to force him to kill.
Tear down his ideals.
They want to break down his ideals.
They want to destroy the legend of the humanoid typhoon.
Yes, and so Leonov's ploy is he just creates a bunch of puppets that look like all of his old friends and family, and Vash knows that they are puppets, but like the like half a second's hesitation each time he shoots, like is the thing that threatens to be his undoing, right? And that's like the angle of the thread there. Here they just look like the
corpses from Nier Automata. Like...
Yes, yeah, exactly, right, like that.
Like the what's the name of the little wooden figures that artists use for posing?
Oh, those things fucking suck ass, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But no, not even like that. Like they have like the like sort of like pseudo
androids with no skin on them, right?
Androids with no skin, yeah, Terminator, right? And like that's just extremely uninspired. But then also they only do the "I'm going to disguise as somebody you know" trick once the entire episode. Otherwise, the entire fight is just Vash being swarmed by like hundreds of like white skeletal robots, and it's just like,
hey
guys, have you seen iRobot with Will Smith? What if all these robots were climbing this tower to come and get you?
Have you seen The Matrix Reloaded?
Just completely missing the point.
Not only missing the point, but also like just like the new thing they do. Like, to be clear, right? Like I think you can be a loose or liberal adaptation and still like do really interesting stuff. In fact, I think
the original Trigun,
I think an argument many of us have made in the past is that we all kind of wish adaptations were maybe willing to like not so closely adhere to source material. So I think
in some cases it's important to break from the source material.
Agreed. And so to be clear, the vector of my criticism of Stargaze is not just they didn't do the old thing; it's that the new thing they replaced it with is not good.
This is not capturing the spirit.
Yes.
I think one of the odd things, and like again, I have not seen Stargaze, I only saw parts of Stampede, but one of the odd things to me about Stampede, and it sounds like this problem is continuing, is that they seem to constantly want to foreground the sci-fi elements and downplay the Western elements. And that to me is odd because that is not the character of Trigun, and it's arguably a removal of some of the stuff that makes Trigun interesting, right? Like, I don't really want to know about, the space colony stuff, the plants, it's fine. It works as an interesting contrast and flavor to kind of the Western stuff. But the Western stuff, I think, is where the manga's heart really is at, right?
Yes, I would definitely agree. I think...
the final battle of the manga still comes down to like a quick draw shootout, kind of like.
It is still a fistful of dollars.
Like obviously, like, you know, Trigun never hid its sci-fi inspirations, right? You know, you got Vash and Stampede battling out with like all sorts of like freakazoid cyborgs with like robot limbs, right? But I think there's always that sort of like, you know, Wild Arms-esque pastiche, you know, like this is anime Western, right?
Yeah,
so of course it's gonna have, you know, cyborgs and
like,
sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say it's the Road Warrior. It's not 2001 or iRobot.
Right.
It is a much grittier, kind of more diesel punk sort of sci-fi.
You know, it's they're gonna have shootouts on a giant ass train, a big ass like a train bigger than any train you've ever seen. You know, and you know I think, and I think, you know, when the like, you know, like. I was about to say high sci-fi, but that doesn't apply to sci-fi. That only works with fantasy. What's the
hard
space opera?
Sure. Yeah. So when the space opera sci-fi shows up in Trigun, it does kind of work as an interesting swerve, right? Like, that's kind of what this was all along. But you know, the presentation remains mostly grounded in the. Oh God, I always forget the full high speed. Future gun action. What's the subtitle for
Deep Space Planet Future Gun Action?
You know, like it always remains that, and I think the issue with Stargaze. Sorry, just
go for it.
Is that, as you say, Zig? I can confirm that Stargaze continues to like put the space opera style sci-fi very, very much in the forefront, like at the expense of the Western. Like it often doesn't feel very space Western at all.
Mm-hmm. Right. And just the thing I was going to say was part of the strength of those sci-fi elements in the original is that they are rare, and when they happen, they are such a marked contrast to the everyday action of what's going on in the manga, right? They stand out because they are weird and discordant, and that doesn't necessarily mean that if you increase that, the effect becomes stronger. It means the effect becomes less strong.
That's exactly what it is, right? Because I think
the balance disappears.
You know, in the original Trigun, when Vash unleashes the Angel Arm gun, that's a real like what the fuck moment, right? Like, wait. Like his arm can do what?
Right.
And I think here, where there's already so much like space magic adjacent sci-fi, it actually kind of removes some of the wonder and impact of like what exactly is Vash the Stampede.
Right, like the decision I always go back to is the fact that they show the full backstory in the first or the second episode. I
Very early,
remember, but yeah, like you see Vash and Knives on a space colony, you know, drifting in orbit around the planet, and I'm like, no, you like basic storytelling is you hold that back until you want to like swerve the audience. Right?
I will say some of that stuff shows up way earlier in the manga than you think.
Sure, it does, but still,
but not the full story, right?
Yeah.
Right. Well, I guess it sounds like things have not changed then.
Nope.
They're
really
not
still
doing
too
anything
small
different here.
Yes.
I don't. So I was listening to the last podcast. I don't necessarily think that she's too small, but as a CGI show, it means you cannot cheat to make her huge, right?
Yes,
you can't squash and stretch her because that model is always going to be exactly the same size.
Right. That's kind of what we talked about. Is like, I think canonically, Millie is not like. You know,
8 feet tall.
No,
right.
But
I just wanted to reiterate the point.
Yeah. In your mind, right? In your mind's eye, because of the inherent exaggerations of anime, when put next to Meryl, Millie is supposed to feel like she's 8 feet tall.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't think CG is an excuse. I think Arc System Works would figure it out.
I mean, one of my favorite things about like Dragon Ball Fighters is when they showed how to achieve those close-up shots for the super attack that like Vegeta's hands are like 3 times the size.
Yeah, exactly.
Or the one with the original, like the JoJo Part 2 OP, they do something like that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can figure it out if you want to. Yeah. Make her 8 feet tall.
Yeah. How do you make a bloodless adaptation of Trigun? Like That's. I don't mean literally. I mean metaphorically.
I mean,
right?
it is also, I think, literally. Like, I don't,
I don't remember ever seeing any blood
when
in
when I say
Stampede.
when you say Trigun, I think dust and blood and deserts and all that stuff.
Yeah. All right.
It's a
disappointment.
Yep.
Okay, so I put at the end of our list the 3 shows I feel fairly confident that we'll actually continue watching. I don't know about everything else up to now. Probably Frieren, but
Sure,
and that's going to include something that has carried over from last season, which we have not talked about it a bit, and that is Gnosia.
Yes, still going.
What has been the latest on that?
Oh boy,
it's been a while, so I want to bring us up to speed.
Sort of introduced an overarching villain?
Question mark?
Is that fair to say? I think that's fair to say.
They have begun to tease out a little more of the backstory of some of the characters, and I don't think it's too controversial to say it's been a pretty slow process, right? They are not exactly going at 1,000,000 miles an hour on this stuff.
Yeah, but not in like a bad way, though. I think
no, not necessarily. I mean, I think that a lot of Gnosia still continues to be people standing around having conversations. And a lot of if you know, I know, you know,
yes.
I know, you know stuff then. But it's still fairly interesting. I think that they have been fairly good about finding ways to change up that basic formula and keep it not necessarily fresh, but still engaging. And as I said, that there have been sort of scattered hints at a larger plot that is coming in. I would like them to get on with it a little bit.
I think there's 5 episodes left.
Something like that.
It's supposed to be 20 or 21 episodes total.
People are just completely ignoring the traditional core structure.
I know.
Right, yeah. But yeah, I would say it still remains engaging, but as it has been all along, it's a slow burn show. I think your tolerance for that will vary from viewer to viewer, right?
Yeah.
I guess my question is, does it need to be a 20-episode show, or are you saying...
I think it...
Is it actually benefiting from having extra runtime?
There's a certain sort of... How to put it? I think them running so many loops... puts you in a certain mindset. I don't know quite how to explain it, but it makes the story feel more lived in to a certain extent.
I think if it was too short, then it wouldn't feel right. But then, yes, the risk is you go too long. Yeah. The length and the fact that we have been doing the same thing, well, not the same thing, but the same basic idea again and again and again, it adds a certain grit to the things that are happening, and it does when weird things do happen, it does heighten the sort of drama of those things, and it also means whenever bullshit new rules come in, there is an increased ability to mine drama out of those. So I would say that they're walking the line pretty well at the moment. But there is a danger of that they might go a little long.
Are they still introducing new rules?
Yes, absolutely.
Yep. Okay.
Yes, the latest role introduced is the what they call them, the AC follower.
Yes, the AC follower.
Who follows like they're cultist or something.
Weird cosmic religion.
So the thing is, they're humans and not Gnosia, but they still lie just to like create chaos or whatever.
Yes.
Okay.
So
sure.
Yeah. So the mathematics of logic before would be like, due to ABC, we can definitively say that person A is a Gnosia, right? But now maybe it's just another human who's lying.
And they come up with some dubious reasons as to why they don't just throw the lying humans into cold storage as well. But basically, it's very if you cannot accept the basic artifice of the whole premise, then it's kind of hard to get anything out of the show. And so the fact that this is a particularly artificial aspect of it is kind of neither here nor there at this point.
Right. But yes, it does mean you have to be okay with the bulk of the episode being, let us lay out the chart and explain the chart. And
I mean, our lead character has literally started drawing flowcharts of people in their notebook about who is X and who is Y.
Yes. And if they are, I know that you know that I know, type logicking out. Yes. Otherwise, because I don't think we talked about this during top 10 or preview, there's all the Manon stuff that has been introduced.
Yes. They've sort of devoted some episodes to individual explorations of particular characters, and some of those have been better than others, but throughout all of them there's sort of been this emerging plot line about this evil woman who tried to become immortal by cloning herself and jumping bodies, standard stuff, and how it seems that multiple people on this spaceship are tied to that in one way or another, and in fact they have just revealed that there is another character other than our main character Yoroi and Setsu who is also going through a time loop. They've revealed that there is another character, and I cannot remember the character's name because she's voiced by Aoi Yuki, so I just refer to her as Aoi Yuki all the time. But so they kind of revealed that character also knows that they are going through a time loop, and that's sort of the cliffhanger we have been left on so far.
Yeah. So I think still solid, I'm not barn burner, but I'm still enjoying it.
Punching above its weight, I think.
Yeah.
It's still hanging in there.
Yeah. They are doing a lot with a relatively little, because again, it is a show mostly just about people standing around and talking.
We would never watch a show like that.
But there are even some pretty good jokes on some occasions, just where one of the resident assholes goes, well, we'll have to decide who goes into cold, and then they just immediately cut to that character being put in cold storage. It's pretty good. So it is a show that knows I don't want to say its limits, but it is a show that knows its strengths and weaknesses and is playing to maximize its strengths. Right? I think that
I did get a laugh out of this latest episode. Yuri does the Doge Beg move that Shaming did 7 or 8 episodes ago.
Yeah, and
you have Shangmin being like, "Oh man, nice bow."
And they do it with flashy angles, like he's about to do a special attack, but instead he just kowtows on the floor. It is. It takes itself seriously, but not too seriously. It's a nice balance between some of the goofier aspects and the serious stuff that's happening too. So like Iro said, not a barn burner, but a very solid, entertaining show still. I think a lot I think will depend on the ending, because I feel like they really have to pull some sort of greater conspiracy out of the hat to justify this, and if they just don't, then it could be a bit of a letdown.
Right. As much as I've said maybe they've introduced an overarching villain that some of these characters are connected to, it does not necessarily feel like the show is building to a big finale.
There's definitely not sort of the same feeling of piecing together the plot that we are moving towards some sort of horrifying revelation like you would get from a Zero Escape or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess that just keeps trucking along then.
Yeah. I will still mention that Teddy Lloyd must be stopped at all costs.
Still a threat, as we keep saying. Sure. All right. Well, let's move on to talk about Journal with Witch. We're now up to 4 episodes on this.
I have not
good.
seen episode 4 yet, I will say.
Yeah,
okay,
a casualty of being a Sunday show and not
that just came out today, so we may or may not.
And a Sunday show I am not scrambling out of bed to watch in time.
Iro, did you see episode 4?
I did squeeze it in this morning. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I also caught it. But well, let's start with good stuff. I do have, I think, some feelings of criticism that I am still formulating in my head on this, but
I really liked episode 3.
Yeah, episode 3 was pretty heavy, I think, in a good way. But I
like that they're finally addressing some of the stuff, right?
Yeah.
I think the way they have approached like the portrayal of grief in this show has been quite good in how not traditionally
dramatic.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so
I appreciate the mundanity of it.
Yes, we're dealing with like the raw mechanics of real life when somebody passes away, the things you have to deal with.
I think we've all probably been in that position where you have to go clean out their stuff and that's something
the sort of like
do.
feeling of like you are like it is a necessary thing, but there's that sense of like you are obliviating a person's like presence in the world by I think I am glad they're getting to this stuff, right? Because not that I had issues with the first 2 episodes, right? It's very obvious that like a big element of it is like grief works in different ways, right? And so a person may in the immediate aftermath actually bounce back pretty fast, right? And it may take time for the reality to internalize, right? But there was a part of me that was thinking in the first 2 episodes, I was like, these 2 are maybe a little too chipper at times for like what is by all accounts a pretty horrifying accident. I am glad that episode 3 started to address some of that, and again, because I do not want this show to just be like weepy and in the weeds of grief the whole time, but I think episode 3 was a necessary step on the path.
Because it's not a somebody passes and you get sad and then you're done, right? There's moments where you're going to be okay and you have to be pull yourself together to get stuff done, and then there's going to be times when you're not okay, and we do see some of that in both episode 3 and 4, I think, where episode 3 kind of focused on them having to clean out their belongings and kind of deal with that stuff, and episode 4 being focused on Asa's is starting high school, and kind of dealing with the fact that Makio is not her mom. She does not have parents. It's a different relationship. And maybe there's parts of there's things that she is missing in her life that she does not have anymore.
Like, this is like the first major life milestone for her that her parents are not present for, right?
Right. And that's part of it too. And I think they just do a good job of depicting all of this. I've said before, it feels like the author, I don't know anything about the author, but they're probably old enough to have gone through stuff like this, and because this is all too real to have not experienced it, I think, from some of the stuff that they're talking about. But I think with me, I'm sort of like, as we're now 4 episodes deep, I feel like maybe I'm like I said, I'm still trying to formulate this criticism, but it's in there somewhere where it's like, it in some ways almost feels a little directionless as to what we're doing. And like,
I can see that.
It's almost like the author wants to get all this stuff off their chest, and it's just they're just pouring it out as it goes. I don't know if there's a plan as to how they want to tell this story.
Sure.
and that's
Right.
not necessarily bad, which is why
Right,
I'm not being like harsh about it, but it is like it almost feels a little random as to like what next thing we kind of jump to, but
That's understandable. Yeah.
I think you can also see that as a strength, though, because that kind of like that sort of disorganized sort of nature of it is also, I think, one of the things which gives it its authenticity and its relatability.
That's true.
The sort of not the confusion and the sort of bafflement of what to do when an important figure in your life is no longer there, right? That there's that sort of looseness to the structure, I think, is also a strength. But I do also see what you mean by sort of saying that it lacks direction a little as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean that's a good point because obviously, real life does not go along by nice, neat narrative beats, right?
Right. But also, this is not real life; it's a show. So.
Yeah.
But yes, we're also So yeah, I guess maybe that's ultimately where we're getting. It's like, is it possible to be too real? Maybe, I don't know.
Right. Two slices of life. Like,
yeah. And while I applaud the author's like insight and like understanding on these things, even like I appreciate that I would not say that either Makio or Asa are like the main, or one of them are the main. They're both the main characters, and it's two like different perspectives, right?
Yeah.
Like
yes.
And I feel like it's rare that you get both like an adult and like a teenage perspective in the same show like this.
And I think that like the scenes in again, I can only speak to episode 3, but the scenes where sort of Makio is haunted by like her memories of her sister are some of the stronger parts of that episode. Sort of the trouble she has coming to terms with her clearly fractious relationship with her sister is one of the more realistic and interesting parts of the show, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I will say, because this perhaps comes up even stronger in episode 4, where whatever they're very specifically not telling us why Makio hates her, quote unquote hates her sister. I feel like whatever that is going to be important because
Just
like I don't know. It's hard to say.
Is the impression you get that there was a specific thing that drove a wedge through them? Because obviously that's not always the kind of thing that happens.
I'll just share in episode 4.
Sure, I mean, but this is not a spoiler.
This isn't really that much of a spoiler, but I will share in episode 4. Also, like literally asks, "Why do you hate my mother?" And Makio says, "I will never tell you."
Sure,
and I feel like that is more. I feel like that type of wording lean towards more something specific than the glimpses that we've had are more like she's been critical of her, not quote unquote growing up and getting a real job or whatever. And,
right.
The one true fantasy element of this story, in which she is a novel making a living as a novelist, right?
Uh-huh.
But
weirdly enough, a bit easier in Japan than here.
Well, yes,
like, yeah.
I mean, we do get some insight to what she is writing, right? Because I mean,
that seems kind of like seems almost kind of like a light novel schlock.
She might be a light novel writer. Finally
the author behind the classic Millennium Princess Cross Calvin.
Makio seems like a cool lady, but when she met her ex, right, and they're talking about the story, I was like, oh, she's like that kind of writer, huh? Okay.
I mean,
it's more that he's that kind of fan, right?
Sure. Man, Makio, like the most relatable 30-something in anime to me. Like,
yeah.
Look,
so much of the minutia.
If churning out some light novels is how you make it as a like financially stable author in the 21st century,
it's kind of the only way now.
Then,
yeah. Yeah, and yes, Makio does continue to be the most relatable.
Yes.
And I have the screenshot of her saying in episode 4, having someone around constantly is enough to tire me out.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Like, so real.
It's a very interesting like take on this character, right? Because like she very much like obviously communicates and behaves and presents herself as an introvert, but like also is the person who tells, explains, right, in episode 3 that, like, and again, in a way that's very, like, understand. She's like, look, Asa, like, I'm not gonna, like, judge you or tell you what to do. I'm not gonna tell you how you should treat, like, the situation with your friend, the situation in 3, but, like, despite being an introvert, right, she is also the one who's like, yeah, but, like, you kind of do need friends. Like, friends are probably what keep you sane, especially as, like, life only gets harder. Like,
yeah.
Right. I mean, introverts I know and familiar with, like, can be an introvert, but you keep your close circle, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
Yeah. So again, I mean, those are the kind of things where I feel very much like the author just has been there, right? Like they know, right?
And just the fact that we can make such nuanced criticisms in general shows you that this show is operating at a level beyond what a lot of slice of life stuff does, right?
Yeah. I think that, I mean, there's definitely more going on here than just your typical chill, everybody's nice to each other type of slice of life show. I mean, everybody's not nice to each other necessarily. Like, it's
more than your normal baby child and big friend show.
Or even that. Even if perhaps that's ultimately what it is at the core, but I think it works. And the criticisms I have are very mild. Like, that's my brain from doing this for 15 years. I can't help myself, right?
Yeah.
I'm always picking away and trying to find, why is this not my favorite show?
Right. I mean,
of all time?
That's what we're here for. So.
That's what we're here. Right. This podcast would be very boring if we just were like, "Yep, this show's good. All right, let's go to the next one."
We are here to be haters.
So, all right. Well, that show's good.
Now for a show that's not good.
Time for the real shit.
But
real
shit.
I put this in our honored final spot on the list.
Let's go.
Fate Strange Fake. Just before I turn you guys loose, I did catch up on this because I hadn't watched any of it in the last episode. So
that's a lot to catch up
on. What you think? Yeah,
I'm all the way here. I think I'm broadly with you guys. I'm into it. I will say, I'm curious if you're not a Fate fan, this might be barely comprehensible.
Oh yeah,
yes. Because I know a guy who's.
I don't even know if I'm like a huge Fate fan, but I do know some stuff. Like,
you know the basics.
I even know a little bit. I feel like I know even a little bit beyond the basics. Like I clapped like a seal when they said "dead apostle." It's like I'm with you guys, and
I mean. I brought up in the latest episode, they talk about how to establish their fake Grail War. They carved off a bit of the Holy Grail and then brought it to America so they could culture their own Holy Grail in a Petri dish. And, I said to Iro, how does that even work? Because, what is the Holy Grail? Is it a physical object? Is it a concept? Is it a store of knowledge?
Yes.
And the answer is yes.
Also, wait, just to be...
I guess what I was ultimately getting to, though, real quick, is, okay, it might be barely comprehensible if you don't know anything about Fate. Does it matter?
And I think that's what Narita and Fate Strange Fake are so uniquely good at, is because they could kind of semi-confidently answer that with a resounding, no, it doesn't matter.
I feel like this show can get by entirely on vibes.
They are surfing on a tide of bullshit and staying ahead of the wave.
I know a guy who is watching this who has no prior fight knowledge. He's watching because it's Narita, right? And so there are certainly some in this latest episode, he was like, so I'm probably supposed to know
don't know what this is.
Some of I'm sure there's context behind some of this stuff, and I just don't have it. So I'm just like, whoa, cool fight.
And I think it's fine, right? Because I think
I think that's honestly. I think honestly, he's doing it right.
Because,
I mean, do you need?
Go ahead.
I mean, do you need to know who Ayaka is to appreciate the show? Probably not.
I barely know who Ayaka is.
Yeah, same.
If you know the reference, it's like, yeah. If you're,
yeah.
Man. And maybe it also helps that we have the internet's foremost Fate experts as part of our crew. But
There was
I mean, my in the weeds question was like, wait, so they carved off a piece of the Holy Grail War, but this takes place in a post, like, we don't know which timeline this is, so we don't know if this is post like UBW or post Heaven's Feel. But like, regardless, this is a piece of the corrupted Holy Grail.
Yes,
right?
I have also raised this
or
issue.
is it because it says they got it during the Third Grail War,
Yes.
and that is when the Grail got corrupted. But it could have been before
before
the
it
evil
got
mud.
corrupted. Yes,
Who
yes,
could say?
Well, before who fucked it? Was it the Einsperns or the Matos who fucked it?
It was the Einsperns.
It was the Einsperns.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, you know.
Look, all I'm saying is that now I will be disappointed if Las Vegas is not destroyed by evil mud at the end of this show.
Yeah, I think if we want the pseudo play-by-play of these last two episodes, right? I think so. First of all, Hansa Cervantes, huh?
What a name!
Oh, man.
Yep.
What a man!
What if we had a church executor who was cool,
who was based,
and had the ladies? And
I mean, like I would say, Katarina Kirei is based. That's kind of the problem, to be honest.
Yeah, okay, but I love God, I should have taken notes. I mean, because there's just not notes about the work itself, but more my feelings about I really love all the levers that Narita is pulling on with Fate's Strange Fate,
there's
right?
so many to pull.
Because the thing that's so delightful is that so many of these levers have always existed in Fate. It's just that Nazu never not deigned to touch them, but just never considered them in the way that often happens with creators of works, right? Is they introduce the concepts, but it is often other people who look at it from a different perspective and go, huh, you've never done that before, have you?
What if this? Yeah.
What if a dead apostle was a master of a Grail War?
I think that's because, being the creator of the story, Nasu was much more precious about it. And I don't say that as a criticism, He was trying to tell a more serious story. And, you could debate on how goofy this thing really is, but it is certainly not as serious as Fate Stay Night.
But I guess what I mean is that, I think I don't know if I said this on a podcast, but I said in many ways, Fate Strange Fake is the complementary version of the super fan gets the keys to the car comparison to G-Quux, right? Because Fate Strange Fake does answer the question of, well, because as we all know, every Grail War has a representative from the church to act as an observer of the Grail War. But what if a dead apostle, the hated enemy of the church, was a master of the Grail War? How would these two dynamics play out? And the answer is the executor would fucking beat the brakes off that vampire.
But only if he was a cool cyborg who smoked.
With a chainsaw leg.
Dark arts will work in my cyborg body.
I swear to God, when he did I think the defining moments for me were when he does the extendo arm and then it opens up.
That was really funny.
So for me, the defining moments of these two episodes were definitely the bit where the dude is in the creepy room full of puppets, and then he picks up the piece of paper, and the piece of paper says, "I ask of you, are you my master?" on it.
Yes.
And I honestly expected the Seinfeld bass line and then a gif of narrator smoking a huge blunt to appear on screen.
But yeah, it was for me. It was the extendo, the extendo arm that opens up and shoots the.
What a funny ass punchline to that fight!
The greatest. And then, I think it was Saber joining a rock band because they're in America.
Oh,
yes.
Why not?
It
didn't even
at the Scotch a Go-Go.
Yeah.
I don't think it had any relevance to anything that was happening or whatever. It was just you know what? We're in America. We're going to ignore the fact that hip hop has been the dominant music genre for the past American music genre for the past.
Hold on.
It takes place in 2009 or something.
Also, I will say fake Las Vegas not really known for its hip hop scene.
No, but anyways, yes.
Yes.
I think.
What year is this not supposed to be present day? Then this is supposed to be.
No, this is immediately post Fate Stay Night.
Not immediately, but at least a few years.
You said
okay, so it's late 2000s.
But let's say late 2000s. Let's say 4 to 6 years after Fate Stay Night.
Sure.
Yeah, so late
pre 2010.
Most people do not have iPhones yet.
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
New metal is still big.
That makes more sense then. Yes.
But yeah, I think the thing that I think constantly delights me about Fate Strange Fake is clearly how much fun the creators are willing to have with it. Like this is a really funny show, actually, right? Like again, the extendo arm bit, like that's like chef's kiss. That's beautiful comedic timing. You know, like the way the hand just flips open and pops out the grenade, like fucking. When True Writer just like Shoryukens True Archer, right? Like into the stratosphere.
But it's fun, but it's not like, I wouldn't say it's like silly though. It's like fun in a cool anime sort of anime cool type of way.
It is not an outright comedy, but it is recognizing that the premise is, at least on some level, a little silly, right? Like,
it is absurd,
goofy,
and we're all gonna love it.
Yeah,
it's just, it takes. Go ahead. Yeah.
No, you go ahead.
It takes so many bits and pieces from everything in Fate Tsukihime, and I love that. I think that's so fun.
Yeah,
of course.
I think there's something to it, like no matter what, like I think obviously, like yes, I do think this is a show that I think totally fair to jump into it fresh, but I think the more like you are familiar with Type Moon, the more there is to appreciate about the little dynamics. In episode 3 when Flat is like talking to Waver and everybody, oh yeah, I'm out here in Las Vegas and I'm joining the Grail War and all that stuff, and he's being his flat self. Yeah. And it's, hey, can you tell me, like, hey, how can I become friends with a servant like this? And it's fucking Gilgamesh, and you get to see Waver's instant like trauma response to seeing fucking Gilgamesh again.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. If you didn't know anything, you would have no idea who Lord Elmalai is, right?
Yes,
right.
Yeah. And the show's just filled with like great bits like that, and even the recurring characters I think get remixed in fun ways. Like I think Gilgamesh continues to actually be like, in some weird ways, it's almost like, and this is so Fate, right? It couldn't be more Fate than this, that every other instance of Gilgamesh we've ever seen in Fate has technically been some sort of like weird, unexpected outlier version, right? Like, oh, Gilgamesh was in a bad mood in Fate Zero. Gilgamesh's whole deal in Fate Stay Night. And here we see in Fate Strange Fate what in some weird ways is probably unironically closer to how Gilgamesh would actually behave in a quote-unquote normal Grail War with a normal master.
I think it also recognizes that, like, Gilgamesh is such a self-important character that there is comedy to be gained from that, right? That he is sort of like a faintly ridiculous figure, and you can have fun, a little bit of fun with that.
Totally.
Yeah.
And I think that's the whole thing, right? Like, it is not disrespectful of the Fate mythology, because it clearly knows and understands and loves the Fate mythology.
In some ways it is slavish.
Yeah, but it also recognizes that perhaps you can give it the occasional prod for goofiness or fun times, right?
Yeah, it knows when to tap into it and when to go off the path and do its own thing.
There's no rule that says a dog can't be a master.
Yes, that's literally that was another one of my favorite things. Yeah.
Where are the dogs? Like, where is the dog's cool command seal tattoo? That's what I want to know.
Yeah. Ira, were you going to say something?
On its tongue.
The layers, I think, just if you have the knowledge, are.
If you are burdened with the knowledge.
Yes. It's like, for example, in episode 4, with the introduction of the true servants, and we have Alcades here, which is incredibly funny to me on so many levels.
Right. So yes, we have the reveal, at least so far, of true archer and true writer, and true assassin, I suppose, also shows up.
Right.
But yeah, yes. Iro, you explain the context of why Alcades is such a funny inclusion in this.
You all watch Unlimited Lightworks, right?
Yes.
And like, of course, in original Fate Stay Night, the Heracles is summoned as Berserker, and in Unlimited Lightworks is defeated by Gilgamesh. And so,
and is it in the original Fate Stay Night where they explicitly say that Heracles could be summoned as any class other than caster because he's just that skilled?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they
So that's a minor mythology gag
Right.
as well. There.
So we have our power scalar like theory talk happening on like immediately on screen, because it's, well, how did Heracles lose to Gilgamesh? And it's like, Gilgamesh shot at Ilya. And Berserker had to just go, protect master.
Yeah.
Be like, go. Heracles was Berserker, so he was crazy and stupid and ran repeatedly into Gilgamesh's outstretched swords. And see, Gilgamesh has the chains of heaven, where they get more powerful the more divinity you have when he ties you up. And so, of course, here we have like Alcides summoned as archer, supposedly Heracles' like best role, and then
also, just to be clear for context, because I was not familiar with this, Alcides is the
I was getting there yet.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right. And someone in his strongest role as an archer he's not crazy, and can dodge and bob and weave and fight back, and then
talk.
Yeah, the talk, yes. And then, yes, specifically summoned as Alcides, because if you're familiar with the myth of Hercules, one of the varied myths of Hercules, when Zeus, knocked up his mom, it was a mortal woman, he was born as Alcides, like, as a kid.
His birth name, yes.
Yeah, and only, later, because Hera was so pissed off about everything, they renamed him Heracles, which means like glory to Hera, right?
Honestly?
What's up?
I said, can you blame her honestly?
No, of course not. So yes, you have Heracles in his powerful archer mode, and also he does not have the divinity stat anymore because
it's his pre.
So
right. It's just he threw away his divinity to fight as a man. Right.
This is what we're getting at. This is the most fanfic, super fan coded. We have built the most anti-Gilgamesh Heracles build in a lab.
Yeah.
This Grail War. And so shout outs to Fate, where I did not see. So, okay, I was starting to put it together, and I was like, wait a minute, is this non-Berserker Heracles? But because of my familiarity with Greek myths, shout-outs to this show, and shout-outs to me studying Greek myths so much as a kid, I did realize this was Heracles by reverse engineering, because I realized true writer was Hippolyta before I realized that was Heracles. So yes, we also get the introduction of our obligatory saber face servant here, right? With true
saber
writer.
Hair. She's a mild case.
She's got the hair bun.
It's the hair bun, but
yes, who is revealed to be Hippolyta, queen of the Amazons, whose girdle was stolen by Heracles in myth.
Yep.
One of the labors.
As one of the and I was
Give
like,
her one boob, cowards.
Yeah, also make her more buff, damn it, but it's fine. Look, she fucking knocked that dude like 1,000,000 feet in the air, so that's all
you
right.
see, the thing is, as somebody who's also fairly familiar with Greek myth, when she said to Heracles, she was like, "You killed me," and I was like, that doesn't really narrow it down a lot.
So,
Heracles killed a lot of guys.
that did not narrow it down, but then when it was talking about the belt, I was like, oh, wait, you're Hippolyta. And then I turned to the other guy and go, wait, that means you're...
Right.
Very, very good. And I think that, to be clear, I don't think Fate has to do nor should always do, but this is another delightful thing where this is a Fate in which they're very much willing to, like, bring back multiple heroes, servants from the same age. And so we get this fascinating dynamic of, like, relitigating the beef, right? You have Gilgamesh and Enkidu summoned to the same Grail War. You have Heracles and Hippolyta, right? Like, you have, and now we also know the origin, the identity of our saber here, right? Which is none other than fucking, Richard the Lionheart, the Crusader.
Not French enough.
And of course, suddenly remembering back in episode 1 where he's like, yes, the Hassan. Yes, because they were active during the Crusades. And it's like, I think there's just a lot of really fun, like, matchups that they have set up here. And
of course, in original Fates Tonight, they had Medea and Heracles and Medusa all around, and they never really interacted with each other.
Did not speak a single line to each other.
I mean that's kind of part of the like 3-act structure
Yes.
of original Fate Stay Night. But yeah, I think part of the appeal of the Fate franchise has always been kind of like playing fantasy sports with the entire cast of mythology across human history, right? And I think they are doing really well on that front here. Like they've chosen some fun heroes, and although, like, I brought this up when we were discussing it because, like, it's really weird to have, like, Alexandre Dumas as a servant because you can bet that D'Artagnan could also be a servant as well. So, like, where is the line between fiction and reality here?
Right.
And
I mean,
the
like,
answer is who cares? But
I was joking with Eero. I was like, well, if Richard the Lionheart is here, like, we got to get Saladin in here, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like, I don't know who's left. Like, I mean, we got Lancer, Berserker, and
True Lancer, True Berserker, True Caster have
unrevealed, right?
The True Caster
have you seen True
off
Caster?
screen showed up, right?
Well, the when they teleport or put them in the illusion of the snowy landscape, or at least I assume that
one could make a reasonable assumption.
Caster.
It's like they didn't say Rider out loud either, but you can make the assumption pretty
also,
much.
yes,
show his eye.
The first rider ever shown to actually ride a horse.
Yes.
First Archer rode that bicycle.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The first Archer shooting a bow.
Yes. And like, I mean, again, we keep rounding about, just talking about all the things we like, but I think at its core, what it is, this is the same energy as when we as the fans say, how come Alessi didn't use his stand on old Joseph?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yes. Like, it is like Fate Strange Fake is the embodiment of every single aspect of this decade-spanning mega franchise. Every little conversation, every counterfactual, every like hypothetical, every like fanfic,
except all the Grand Order stuff.
Just wait.
Okay, sure.
Like it's all like here, like and they're like having such a fun time with it, and
yeah,
I think that reads, and I think that is why the fan base has like taken to this. Spin-off so well. So much.
If you know enough, then it's like catnip, right?
Yes.
Few technical notes. These were two pretty action-heavy episodes. Looked very good.
Yeah.
In general, I have not had an opportunity to say this, but I think the show looks great.
Yeah, I really feel
it is interesting adjusting my brain from seeing character designs that are not Takashi Takeuchi.
Right,
but they're instead
more Ishizuki,
or as interpreted by UFO Table, but it works. Like it still looks like Fate while not looking like Fate.
The funny thing is that, like, I was talking with Eero about this. I was pulling up some old like shots, some old scenes from Fate Zero, right, just for comparison, and like. Fate Strange Fake actually looks pretty different. Like it's that fun thing of it looks like Fate, but in your head. But if you actually compare it, it is a pretty.
It's very
evolution.
different. Yeah, it's very different.
We were looking at like the shot of like Gil in Fate Zero where he's got his fucking paintbrush hair or whatever, and
super spiky hair. Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of crazy how much better he looks in Fate Strange Fake.
I mean, like UFO Table's style has always been very technically precise and cold to a certain extent.
I think so, yes.
Yeah. And I think, in Strange Fake, I think there is more natural sort of ebb and flow to the animation, which I think I actually said this while we were watching, but when, you have the insane sequence where like Heracles plunges into the ravine and is he chasing Gilgamesh or is Gilgamesh chasing him?
They're all kind of
it's
shooting at each other, right?
Like, I actually kind of enjoy the fact that like the detail sort of visibly drops in that way because they're going to be doing like a whole bunch of movement. That's almost a reassuring bit of like old anime style to me. You'd never see that in a UFO Table production, right? Everybody would be scrupulously on model, and the final result probably wouldn't be anywhere near as kinetic.
Speaking of technical, 2D horse.
Yeah,
you never see those anymore. That's for sure. Yeah, and we talked about last time how they will allow themselves an occasional stretchy anime face, that kind of stuff that you would never see in previous Fate adaptations. But it doesn't feel like it's not Fate, though, right? Like you look at it, it still feels like Fate.
I mean, even the animation feels like the whole show does, which is, it's still definitely Fate, but a kind of like looser, more rubbery interpretation of the whole thing. Right?
Is somehow I'm trying to justify in my brain why the kind of washed out gray dark lighting works in this and not in other anime for me, but I don't know, it just kind of does here.
I think like they do us as the two of us are inhabitants of the West Coast. Ira and I remarked that like Fate does a remarkably good job of sort of capturing what I would say is the temperature of the American West Coast. Like it does kind of look and feel like that way. It is dusty and hot and kind of like, even when the sun is out, it sometimes can feel strangely drab at times on the West Coast.
Yep. Any green is artificial.
Well, I mean, especially because they're in the middle of the Nevada desert.
Yeah.
Right?
So.
I do.
I guess.
Go ahead.
I guess having been to Arizona not that long ago does kind of check out a little bit. But
so there's a lot of fucking empty desert they can blow up.
Yes.
Yeah, we don't need the quarry. All of the American West is the quarry.
Yeah. And then one other thing, I have been attempting to watch the dub. It's a bit hit and miss.
There's a lot of characters.
So some of them are really good, like Castor Alexander Dumas is great. They kind of give him a vague like northeastern New York accent.
That's very good.
Kind of like, I'm working here, buddy. That kind of
right.
Historically accurate.
And which is very good. And then, but then on the flip side, it's Gilgamesh might be the worst casting of all time.
I've been pissed about. I've been pissed about. I can't even remember his name now.
No offense to the actor. I'm sure he's a fine actor, but he should not be playing Gilgamesh.
Is it Crispin Freeman?
David Vincent. No. Crispin Freeman was Kotomine. David Vincent. I've been, as somebody who started with the dub of the Dean Fate's Day Night. David Vincent voiced Fake Assassin in that, and I thought he was fine. And then for Fate Zero, they had him voice Gilgamesh, and he has been the voice of Gilgamesh ever since. I don't think it's very good.
Because Gilgamesh has a very distinct hammy, like larger than life type of delivery.
He's a very over the top character,
and the way they play him in the dub, he just sounds like a guy, just some guy.
Yeah,
he's like, I'm the king, and it's like no enthusiasm whatsoever. And even just his voice does not. It just sounds like a guy. And
Gilgamesh should be like maximum ham at all times.
I feel like I feel like I could probably play him better, honestly. But
damn,
it's
cool.
Gil is so important that it almost ruins the entire dub for me. So like, I'm just like,
it's a shame.
But part of me is like, I kind of want to watch it dubbed because they're in America. I know it's a weird thing,
right? But, I totally get it. I mean, noted Narita anime Baccano. I heartily recommend the dub.
Yeah, but I mean, the rest of it's mostly fine. And like I said, some of them are actually pretty good. But the Gilgamesh one is just, it's killing me.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yes.
All right.
No, I'm also sorry. As an adaptation, I'm finding this kind of interesting also because in the novel versions and in the manga version of the novel, of course, which is informing this visually quite a bit because it was also by Mori Shizuki.
Right, I always forget this is a novel first.
There's huge swaths of information that is just simply not appearing on screen because we don't have time for that.
I figured as much. Right?
Yes, and I think they're doing a good job of boiling it down to what would be needed most for a 24-minute anime episode, right?
Do we know how many episodes this is going to run?
But I cannot imagine it being fewer than 2 cours, right?
Right, I was going to say.
But Fate has done split seasons before and likely will again at some point. But
it's not like this thing had an easy path to being made to begin with.
Right,
so.
many delays on the production. But yes, if we were like a straight up adapting everything, like beat by beat by beat by beat, we'd probably be in episode like 8 or 9 by now. There's just so much like a backstory, talking, explaining stuff in the novels, to my knowledge, and so I'm sort of pleasantly surprised, right?
You will remain cursed with that knowledge.
Oh man, dude, there's so much wacky stuff coming up.
Yeah,
and I'm here for it, man.
It's like Narita Styles just always like setting up a bunch of dominoes and then setting up more after he kicked down the rest, and going in a fucking circle.
I'm over here hooting and hollering because I am realizing in retrospect, that wow, they okay, wow, we're getting Heracles in this grill war. That's an interesting. Wait a minute! The Hydra poison dagger from the previous episode.
Yes, of course. Yeah, also in play because of course Heracles famously killed by the shirt of Nessus, which was tainted by the Hydra poison.
The cops are gonna shoot Heracles dead in the street with Hydra poison.
Oh god, the cops.
Heracles found dead in Miami.
Yeah, basically.
Right. Yeah, stuff like that, right? It's so many bits and pieces.
I have been enjoying how useless the police are so far. How utterly sourceless they are.
So they immediately get shown up by a vampire that they're completely unprepared for.
Yes, it is the sad juxtaposition of they are probably the faction that is aura farming the hardest of anyone in Fate's Strange Fake. Their introduction in the prologue still lives in my head rent free. It's such a fucking baller intro. But yes, in some ways, I think I said on Blue Sky that being self-righteous aura farming frauds would honestly be a dramatic improvement on the state of American policing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the police chief and his Leo White Fang ass constantly getting surprised.
Of course, he has a katana. It's the unfortunate thing of like by far, Fate Caster is by far my favorite servant that has been summoned in this Grail War, and of course they had to tie him to the fucking cops. But you take the good with the bad.
Look,
I guess
it's their Second Amendment right to bear noble phantasms, and
all right.
Well, yep.
That show's fun.
It's the one I'm shaking the bars to see every week.
Yes.
Good show.
Again, obviously there may be, look, maybe there's smarter, more, emotionally mature shows airing this season, but Fate's Strange Fake is like the reminder. Like this is like why you show up for anime.
Cyborg priest versus vampire. Like, come on,
with a bench.
Yeah.
With a bench, yes, yeah.
God, the fight where he's just like tossing cars like they're rocks. It's so fucking good.
On some black keys. It's extra funny because, it's like of course he uses black keys because all the cool priests do, and then of course it is explained elsewhere that the black keys are like the fucking. It's like using a single action army in the modern day or something. It's just like they're antiquated and shitty.
Yeah, I was like reading somewhere that like most executors, or supposedly most modern day executors in the Fate universe use like transforming gauntlets.
Sure,
right. Have most priests move on to the servant strengthening device.
I want to see that, But,
man, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, and I'm enjoying it on another level than all of you.
Iro, this is like right. You're finally
you are officially having 0.7 times more fun than us.
Yes. And there's also just like really like weirdly fun, like again, mostly in good fun. It's been weirdly refreshing that like So the reality is that in many ways, this is the first major like battle-oriented Fate in a post like Demon Slayer world. Like this is the first major Fate in a post shonen as like your culture of Western anime fandom.
Was Apocrypha after Demon Slayer or
No
That's
way.
before.
It might have. I'm not sure.
That's gotta
Maybe
be before.
the manga, maybe, but the Apocrypha anime was oh my lord,
I think that's a lot longer ago.
it was
than we're
2017.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, the point is like this is a like okay like this is a major fate that is coming out like in the the hype moments and era of shonen, and so it's like it's like it's a little bit like when Gundam got big again, right? And you're seeing like people relitigate Gundam like discussions that are like 40 years old, and like I am seeing
You're regularly seeing people nowadays being like, "Damn, Charles counterattack."
Yeah, like it's something. There's something like delightful, as long as it stays good natured, of like seeing people who like were maybe like quite literally children, like when Fate Zero aired. Maybe weren't even born when Fate Zero aired. Going like Gilgamesh versus Gojo, who wins? And like being
Fate is making its return to the top 10 anime fights.
Yes, like
right.
I guess like the feeling is like watching the old like champion prize fighter come out of retirement, like it's like, oh, you kids thought you knew power scaling? Like, step aside. This is what real power scaling looks like.
What if you summoned Goku as a servant?
Yeah,
like people explaining, well, you see, because Gilgamesh has blah blah blah, independent action A, he can, it's like,
even if he protected his master, but even if she had gotten her head blown off, Gilgamesh probably would have been fine.
Because he's a Mary Sue.
He's got that archer independent action.
Yeah, you see, Gate of Babylon versus whatever Gojo's thing is called, Six Eyes, purple, whatever.
The weird sort of tabletop gaming stuff that has always been a weird part of Fate, like the way everybody has attributes and stuff.
There's a thing that is in the novels that barely comes up and is not ultimately important in any way that I hope they somehow squeeze in, which is how of course, in original Fate Stay Night, like, yes, you can see like the parameters of every servant or whatever, and like the ranks of their skills and all that, but that is tossed off in fiction as masters can always see like the strength of servants as because they are masters in the Grail War, but they each interpret that information differently, right? Like in their heads.
Okay.
And so like in the novels, it's clear that like when like Tine is seeing these other servants, that like she's interpreting their status as like rushing rivers and stuff, as opposed to like A+ rank power, right? Which is something I appreciate.
Sure, yeah, because
especially because like in Fate Zero, you have other characters. You have like Kotomine and like Tokiomi saying, "Oh, looks like it's A rank this," right?
Right, yeah.
And it's like, no. But man.
Okay, my one last thing then.
My one has A rank cuckolding.
I need. All right, because I did also realize in retrospect. Oh wait, Fake Caster's whole deal is it's a riff on Shiro, right? Like the whole "I'm making fake noble phantasms to arm the police" is like just the Americanized version of Unlimited Blade Works, right? And so upon realizing that. And because this is a post-Fifth Grail War timeline, I need fucking Caster like to be like, bro, I've been reading the Fuyuki Grail War Wikipedia article, and I've been reading about this kid from Japan, and I got some ideas. All right, like, all right, I ordered online a pair of jeans and a blue and white raglan and a red wig. I want you to put it on, all right, and then I want you to repeat after me. All right, bone of my sword.
God.
Yeah.
I need this to happen. Naruto, please, I'm begging you.
So they somehow create a fake unlimited blade works or something. Yeah. Somebody's got to read the chant, right?
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think Hero appears in this.
That's probably for the best, honestly.
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
Hero cameos when he's visiting Disneyland.
Well, that show's fun.
Yep.
And we can continue to look forward to that for the rest of the season.
It's as if Narita went, "I'll make my own Fate Stay Night with blackjack and hookers," and then actually went to do it.
There was a great interview recently with him and then the writer of Umbrella Chronicles, Case Files, whatever, where Narita's straight up like, I just think of what would be cool as hell in one scene, and then I just bridge all of these things together and make shit up.
Figure out how they connect.
Right.
Method of writing.
Yeah.
If only we could all be so brave.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we need to end it there. We'll have ongoing Fate Strange Fake discussion throughout the season. So that will do it for this episode. So yeah, we got at least 2 or 3 good shows to watch. We'll see how things go next time. But for now, we can at least look forward to those things. Let's end with our housekeeping then. Check us out at theglorioblog.com. Follow us on Blue Sky at glorioblog. Subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, Podbean, Stitcher, and of course YouTube, where you can like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, all those good things. Tell your friends, tell your enemies, and we'll catch you over next time.